Welcome back and thank you for joining me, Miss Trot, once again for Math and Science for Young Children. In each of our sessions, we will be reviewing math, science, and early childhood concepts. Our goals for this session are to understand the difference between rote and rational counting, become familiar with the principles of rational counting, recognize how early science and math experiences support language and literacy development, and develop a sense of wonder and positive attitudes towards life science concepts, exploring trees and leaves. Make sure you download the note sheet to go along with this session's video, and stick around as we learn more about math and science for young children. Talk about two different types of counting, rote counting and rational counting. Rote counting is children reciting the numerals in order from memory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very much like memorizing the alphabet, children appear to be counting, but are not able to come up with the correct amount of how many objects in a collection. Rational counting uses the ability to rote count. It involves matching each numeral name in order to an object, like 1 penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies, etc. In rational counting, learning to count meaningfully requires children to understand the following 4 principles or rules of counting. The first is the one-to-one principle. Means that each object is to be counted must be assigned one and only one number name. Young children have a tendency to skip objects or say two-number words for the same object. Techniques for teaching this principle will include reminding the child to count carefully and to touch each of the objects with the finger. It is useful in the early stages to move an item out of the way as it is counted. A child develops an awareness of the importance of one-on-one correspondence by matching objects in everyday situations and realizing the importance of not omitting any object. The second principle is a stable order principle. This means understanding that the counting sequence stays consistent. The number name listed must be used in a fixed order every time a group of objects is counted. It is always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not 1, 2, 4, 5, 8. Stable correct order is only meaningful when applied with one-on-one correspondence. It is not enough that it be memorized. The third is the order irrelevance principle. This means that the order of which the objects are counted doesn't matter. The total will always stay the same. The children can start with any object and count them in any order. The order in which the objects are counted is irrelevant, but the objects must be counted. The fourth is the cardinality principle. This consists of the child's realization that the last number word used to represent how many objects were in the set is the number of objects there are. Regardless of which object is counted first or the order in which they're counted, the last object name always tells how many. A child who recounts and asks how many candies are in a set that they just counted does not understand the cardinality principle. To fully grasp this principle, a child needs to appreciate that the final number name is different from the earlier ones in that they are not only names of the final object, but it signals the end of the count and also tells you how many objects have been counted. It indicates what we call the numerosity of the collection. There are two big ideas when talking about counting. Counting can be used to find out how many in a collection. That's going to be the quantity. And then also with the counting rules. Counting has rules that apply to any collection. And again, those are our 4 principles we just reviewed. Research has shown that there are connections among literacy, mathematics, and in science. As researchers continue to explore the importance of specific science and math experiences and skills for school readiness and later achievement, we already know that early math and science experiences matter because they can support language and literacy development independent of any effect or later math and science achievement. Some language and literacy strategies that you can use in the context of science and math will simultaneously support that language and literacy development. These can include activating prior knowledge, pose open-ended questions, present new vocabulary with definitions, engage in one-on-one and group discussions, scaffold child's learning, facilitate problem solving, build phonemic awareness, and read and talk about books. We have goals when we're teaching life science. We want children to learn about the characteristics and needs of living things, life cycles, habitats, interconnectedness, and the diversity of life. We also want them to learn about the growth and change of living things over time. We want children to develop scientific process skills by observing, questioning, investigating, communicating, reflecting, and formulating ideas and theories. And we want children to develop scientific dispositions, including curiosity, eagerness to find out, respect for life, and delight in being a young naturalist. In this session's exemplar activity, we're going to be focusing on life science through exploring trees. Children visit a living tree and use their senses to observe, explore, and compare the parts of a tree. They learn about the tree as a habitat and look for signs of animals in and around the tree. Children collect items such as leaves, twigs, and cones that can be used in further investigation in the classroom. The underlying science concepts for exploring trees are that trees are living things. Trees have different parts, structures that help them live, and a tree can be a home or a habitat for an animal. Make sure that you read through your exemplary guide for this activity and experiment, and take a look at the Engage, Explore, and Reflect. After you have completed the activity, make sure that you ask questions such as, what was something interesting that you noticed, and what else would you like to learn about trees? To continue exploring trees, make sure you choose one of the ideas for further exploration to complete. Some background information on trees are that there are two main types of trees, deciduous and evergreen. Deciduous trees lose all of their leaves for part of the year, and an evergreen tree doesn't lose their leaves all at the same time. They always have some foliage. Both people and animals rely on trees in many ways. Wood from trees and paper pulp are important resources for people. Trees help keep our air clean and our ecosystems healthy. Fruits, nuts, and seeds can provide sources of food, and trees provide habitat and homes for animals of all sizes. There are some basic parts of a tree. The roots grow underground and they help support the tree and keep it from tipping over. Their main job is to collect water and nutrients from the soil and store them for times when there isn't much available. A trunk holds up the branches and gives the tree shape and strength. The trunk transports the water and the nutrients. The branches support the leaves, buds, and flowers. And the leaves and needles use sunlight to produce food for the whole tree in a process known as photosynthesis. As a byproduct, trees release oxygen into the air. This is very important as all animals and humans need oxygen to survive. Leaves contain a substance called chlorophyll that gives leaves their green color. That wraps us up for this session. Be sure to check your course online to make sure that you review any other content that is posted there, as well as complete your exemplary activities. If you need any help, please feel free to reach out to me or your instructor. We're here for you. Have a great time learning. See you next time.